All right, let's go. All right, Tim. How about the game last night?
Cindy, you came over to watch the Leafs in Ottawa, so everybody wants to know what you think of
Tim,
Morgan.
you forgot to mention one thing.
What?
That I picked that.
Yeah, you picked Ottawa to beat Toronto. You've been 2 in a row. Then you picked Vancouver to beat the Canes. So you've been picking the underdogs lately. So what'd you think of Ridley Gregg slapping the puck?
I'm glad Riley was on, and I'm glad he did it. You just don't do. I know there's no rule in the book that says don't do that, but you just don't do that. And I think, why he did it? I think the reason he did it was because the Leaf fans were going, "Go Leaf, go," and that's why he did it. I still say it was a spur of the moment thing that did it, and he did it.
Do you think Riley would get? How many games do you think he's going to get?
I'd say he'd get 2.
2 games.
Well, he used his stick, hey.
Yeah.
And I think he meant to get him on the shoulder, but he got him on the back of the neck. He laid there pretty good, though.
Yeah, well, he gave him a pretty good shot. So what did you think, Cindy?
What I thought of the game?
What did you think of the game?
Well, as you know, I just could not get over the couple that had that little baby behind the Leaf net. I know I talked about it.
I didn't even notice it.
Oh, I noticed it. Absolutely ridiculous to bring a little baby. That baby had to be under 2 years old.
Yeah.
Probably about 15 minutes. And you know how loud that horn is? I don't know what the hell they have going in Ottawa, that horn. And that poor little baby, I mean, I looked at it in the third period, and it was, it had a pacifier in his mouth. Mothers, they think that somehow helps them. And the kid's rubbing his eyes and everything. Well, I mean, what are these people thinking about?
I don't know.
Well,
I didn't even notice it.
If I, spent the money and got a seat behind the bench and had to sit behind that lady with the kid sitting on the lap that didn't have to pay to get in, I would have been infuriated.
So with you, it's all about...
It's all about me. I don't care about the kids. Imagine...
Usually it is about me, but for that little baby to go through that, and I know, well, we couldn't find a babysitter, or, we want to get him in, and he had a little Toronto Maple Leaf sweater on and the whole deal. I mean, come on. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's forget about that.
Well, he asked what I thought of the game. It's all I could talk about through the whole game.
All right,
but
then.
you know what, Dad? You caught something last night that I think is getting out of hand and could be, it could have been, let's say there was a Stanley Cup winning goal, would have been a lot of controversy when the linesman threw out the Senators' centerman.
And he went back to the point and around and in the net.
In the net was 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. Tied it up 2-2. But I see that all the time. The linesmen, they said that the players are learning. They're not learning at all. You see, when they get out, in fact, they put 2 centermen out there.
Do they put 2 centermen out there now because just in case they get thrown out? Is that the theory now?
Yeah, and when you lose, and there's no way that, I think it was, I forget who it was, but anyhow, he didn't even try for the face-off and just went back.
But I mean, but let's say that's a minute to go in a tie game in the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 7, and that linesman throws that guy off, and Tavares back to the point over and over and in. I just think they got to get better control of that, because the people that don't know hockey don't think it's a big deal. Yeah. But a lot of people that know hockey, like yourself, you went crazy last night saying, that could cost them the game.
Yeah.
But why, when you coached the Bruins and when we, really watched hockey and we knew what was going on, or you had your face-off guy, back then they didn't seem to throw out the guys as much.
They didn't throw them out at all. And if
cheated
if Bobby Clark could cheat on him, then learn how to cheat the same way.
Yeah, that's what Bobby Clark said. They said, "Oh, Bobby Clark, you cheat the face-off." And he goes, "Well, everybody cheats. I just cheat better."
And he does, too.
You know who called you the other day was, speaking of the centerman with good face-off, was Greg Shepard.
Greg Shepard. That was the biggest mistake I ever made.
That's what he said. You weren't home, and I got his phone call, and I said, "Oh, Greg," I said, "he's from Battleford, Saskatchewan."
Yeah,
and then I think he says he's somewhere warm now. And I said, we were just talking about you the other day. And he goes, oh, yeah, on the podcast. And that was his biggest regret was trading you. And you know what he said? He said, you would have won a Stanley Cup. We would have won a Stanley Cup.
And I said that too. Remember, I said that
and you
a couple of
with
weeks
him.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I really believe, and he would have killed that penalty. He would have killed that penalty.
Yeah. That's You know, not knocking Bobby Miller, but you would have had Greg Shepard out there killing the penalty instead of Bobby Miller.
And he'd have got the draw. Yeah, anyhow.
But anyway, I thought that was funny. So he had no hesitation saying, well, you would have won a Stanley Cup if you didn't trade me.
Kenny Dryden said to me one time, he said, you've just been another guy that won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Look at you now.
Right. So the other thing, though, that was funny that we were watching this morning was the guy that you like, Mackenzie Weegar. You like the word
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
I love the Mackenzie. And Mackenzie Weegar, and he just steered the puck in the net. And
right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, with an open net for the hat trick.
And you know Bobby Hull wouldn't score in an open net.
Yeah.
No, if he had the puck, if he had the puck, and he'd throw it over. I mean, of course, he got 76 goals.
So another thing that happened last night, Vancouver, Nikita Zadorov hit Lucas Raymond, I should say.
And Raymond was watching the pass. And you're taught never to watch the pass, and he was watching the pass, and what was his name?
Zadorov.
Zadorov come over and just nailed him. And you know, it was a hit to the chest. It wasn't a hit to the head.
No, I thought it was a clean hit.
Yeah, it was a clean hit, and he'll get 2 games.
Yeah, he got 2 games right away because Vancouver plays again today, so they gave him right away. But I remember, Cindy, when I was 10 years old and we were doing drills, the guys always used to say, don't look at the puck when you pass it because you're going to get hit.
Yeah, and boy, you went.
It was, the funny thing is, it was almost the same spot in the rink where Bedard got hit, broke his jaw. It was almost in the same spot, right at the blue line, not paying attention, roaring up center ice.
I don't think he'll do that again.
I remember you used to call it admiring your pass. That's what you used to call. You referenced it.
Yeah. Isn't that a lovely pass?
Oh, you're admiring your pass again, eh?
Oh, we used to have a lot of fun.
Okay, Dad, we're going to take some questions now,
All
okay?
right.
And this is from Scott, and we got that from Facebook. And he says, we are halfway through the season, and I want to know who is your MVP so far?
Oh, well, McDavid. Of course, I like McDavid. And who do you pick, Tim? I like McDavid, and I picked him as the MVP.
Yeah. So it's the most valuable player to his team.
To the team, not the most talented or whatever. It's, if they would lose games, it wasn't for this player.
Well, I don't understand why you can't pick goalies. Because you'd go Demko or Hellebuck.
Forget goalies.
If you forget the goalies. I'm not a Leaf fan, but you know what? I'd say Matthews. Because if Matthews hasn't scored how many goals he's got, the Leafs would be right out of the playoffs. If he has half the amount of goals, they'd be right out of the playoffs right now.
Well, you're asking me, Cindy, and I would say McDavid.
Okay, Dad, I'm going to give you another question here. This is from Claire T. From Twitter. I am from Port Colborne, and I'd like to know about Bronco Horvath, who is also from there. And he played with you in Rochester, right?
Sure did.
Now, was this before or after? Because he was in the NHL, right?
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
In the NHL.
Well, I only know them as the American League.
What happens is everybody forgets. He was going in the scoring. Him and Bobby Hull were going for the scoring. And I remember the last game he told me the story. It was the last game of the season. And they were going back and forth. It was only 1 point.
Only 1 point behind Bobby Hull for the scoring race. Wow.
Yeah. And he got hit, and he really got nailed pretty good. They thought his jaw was broken and everything was broken. And he looked up, and there was Dolly, his wife, sitting up there. She couldn't care less. She was talking. She was talking away. Oh, well, I think we'll have cake.
Sort of like Mom.
Yeah, she couldn't have cared less during the game. And, you saying you're Rose?
Well, when the wives got together, they were
Mom
talking.
really didn't, you're in a fight or hurt and all that. We'd keep right on talking. We know you could take care of yourself. I don't think Mom would really.
Nice to know. Nice to know. Anyhow.
Well, look what she said about when you had your cut in your eye there.
I remember I got in a fight with Dennis
Hextall.
Hextall, yeah. And I remember the 2 linesmen. One was Carpenter, and the other one was House. Yeah. And I remember them. And House had a hold of me, and I couldn't do anything. He had a hold of my right arm. And I remember Dennis Hextall smiling.
Because the other guy didn't grab his arm?
No, he was home free. They both had me.
I know.
I was the home guy.
I was at that game. I remember that, watching it.
And then he corked you right over the eye?
Did he get? Boy, did he ever hit me! Right over the left eye, and I was the last one out. And I went up to your mother, and my eye was just, well, you imagine what it would look like.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and she said, I never knew a fist could do that damage.
It was unbelievable.
So how was Bronco when you,
I'll just finish the story. He says, we're going to take you to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. I want to keep playing. He said, no, we're going to take you to the hospital. So they took him to the hospital. He said he's okay. And he come back, and he beat him by 1 point.
Oh. But that's the thing I'd ask. Like, he did a lot. He had, like, a lot of good seasons in the NHL.
Oh, he was for New York Rangers, yeah.
And then he went into the minors, and he still was getting 100 points in the minors.
Tim, back in those days, there was 6 teams. 6 teams. And there was 3 centermen. And then you had the fourth guy, he was like a nothing. And you had 3 centermen. So you had 6 guys, you had 18 guys.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, but I thought, he was, as you say, he almost won 1 point behind Bobby Hull for the scoring race, and he goes down to Rochester, he gets 100 points.
Yeah. He did good. He did good.
Did he upset somebody and they buried him, or?
I don't know why they buried him, but we had 3 centers would lead the league now.
Yeah, you had your 3 centers had almost all had 90 points in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I didn't make it.
But that's the thing with you in Rochester. That's why I asked about him in the NHL. You saw the players when they were going to go to the NHL, and when they had been there, and when they were coming back.
So, what kind of guy was Bronco? Like, could he shoot?
Bronco, he wasn't a very good skater, but he could really put the puck in the net. In fact, he came to me. I was sitting on the bench. He says, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to deke to the left. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put it in the top corner." He did it. He did. He put deke to the left, coming in, deke to the left, and then put it in the top corner. And everybody's out congratulating him, and he's looking at me. See, I told you I was going to do it. When we were on the bus, we used to spend 8 hours on the bus, and Les Duff was the comedian. And we used to have groundhogs all along the New York Thruway.
Right, yeah.
And they'd be running for their hole, as the bus comes by. And Les Duff said, "Hey, looks like Bronco on a breakaway." That's what Bronco was like on a breakaway.
Yeah. How did he take it?
Funny Duff. You're a funny guy, Duff. I remember one time in Buffalo. Now, you got to think about this now. It's about a minute and a half to go, and you can't go down more than 3 players. So Phil Watson was the coach of the other team, and he would put in Bronco every time he dropped the puck. The centerman would just grab him and just beat him up. And I was at the end of the bench, and he come over to the bench. And he says, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Joe? What's going on? And why do you keep putting me out there? Why don't you get some dummy like Cherry to put out there?" And everybody laughed. And he said, no offense, Grapes, no offense. Anyhow, he was a great hockey player, and he'd be making about $8 million, I guess, right about now.
Dad and Cindy, we'd like to thank NorthStarBets.com. It's a Canadian-owned and one of the best places to play in Canada. They have everything you're looking for: slots, live dealers, tables, sports books with built-in insight and analysis. And listeners who have an account on spreads.ca don't have to do anything. Just sign into NorthStarBets.com. And it's not available in Ontario. NorthStarBets.com has an exclusive offer for listeners. If you sign up and deposit with the promo Grapes, NorthStarBets.com will match your first bet up to $100. You get 10 bonus spins on the big wheel. And this offer is limited, and while quantity is less, and again, not available in Ontario. And you've been picking the teams pretty good, Dad. Yeah, picked Ottawa last night was an underdog. You picked Vancouver the other day was an underdog. So you're doing pretty good. So who you picking? This is Super Bowl.
I got to think about it.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, I'm picking KC.
No, I'm taking the 49ers. I think they're out for some revenge.
Oh, you think they're out for revenge?
Out for revenge. Yeah, because KC beat them before, right?
Well, but
who's the underdog? Is there a favorite? Or?
I think San Francisco is a little bit a favorite right now.
Anyhow, I'm taking KC.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
Okay, Dad, this is from Twitter, and Leaf Blue says, first of all, he wanted to congratulate you on your birthday, and boy, you got a lot of happy wishes.
I got it was a write-up in the paper. I think they would have forgot about me. But I got one from, I don't, when I think about it, so I guess he did send it to me.
Who?
Justin Trudeau.
No, he sent you. That's good.
Oh, he's on top of things.
And Doug Ford sent a lovely letter with his. And
Well, you had on your Twitter, I think you had like 1,000 people wish you happy birthday. So.
Well, anyhow.
I bet your voicemail was full of happy wishes.
I better not start naming them because I'll get in trouble.
Well, a lot of people, wished you happy birthday, and that was great.
Yeah.
They still remember you. And this Leaf Blue person from Twitter wants to know: do you think if Matthews is he going to hit 70 goals this year?
No, I don't think he's going to hit 70 goals. They're going to start keying in on him, and it all together different now. But how many games left?
There's about 30 some left. So in about another 2 weeks, it starts getting serious.
Yeah, it really gets serious. And they cut down on, and you don't get the chances you do at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And so I don't think he'll hit 70.
The funny thing is, you talk about goal scoring and stuff like that. Still, the gold standard is Rocket Richard, 50 goals in 50 games.
Yeah, that's. It's pretty impressive. 50 goals in 50 games. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. 50 goals in 50 games was a big deal back in those days.
Yeah. Who has done it? So you can remember.
The
Rocket, Gretzky. The first guy to break it was Mike Bossy. Remember? He tied it. Didn't break it. He tied it. And then I think the guy that broke it was Gretzky broke it the one year.
Gretzky.
He had 50 goals in 38 games or something like that.
I did that game.
Yeah,
I did that game, and I said, "Wouldn't it be funny if he got 5 goals or?"
He needed like 5 goals or something like that.
And he got one in an empty net, and I was walking out with Billy Barber after, and he said, "That son of a," and I'm walking. I said, "What are you so upset about?" He says, "When they show that goal," he says, "they'll see me falling down." Yeah. Anyhow, he did. They did, and they did show it, and they did show him falling down.
That's right. Every shot of him, like he was falling down. He was like trying to get back, and he dove, and he fallen down, and Gretzky scored and opened net.
And he got 50 goals in 38 games. And I said before the game, I said, imagine if he gets 5 goals tonight, and he did get the 5 goals.